Good day po ulit everyone. So this is the continuation of the discussion for government grant, but this time is i-answer naman natin yung mga problem solving questions. So for 24-1, ang requirement natin dito is to prepare the journal entries for the first year to record each independent government grant. So independent situations to, no? Tapos doon lang daw sa unang taon yung ire-record natin. So wala ding mga dates na binigay sa atin, ang ilagay na lang muna natin is numbers na lang muna para mapakita yung pagkakahiwalay ng mga independent situations. So, Landmark Company received a government grant under the following independent situations. Number 1, an entity received a grant of 15 million pesos from the American government in order to defray safety and environmental costs within the area where the entity is located. So ito grant related to income siya, no? Kasi yung grant na tanggap natin para sa safety at saka environmental costs. Katulad lang sa example natin doon sa discussion kanina. So yung safety and environmental costs are expected to be incurred over 4 years. So 4 na taon daw magagastos. Respectively, meron siyang amount na 2 million, 4 million, 6 million, and 8 million. So, compute natin kung magkano yung total niyan. No? Kasi pang isang taon lang naman yung hinihingi sa atin. So, 2 million plus 4 million plus 6 million. Ay, sorry. So, 2 million plus 4 million plus 6 million and plus 8 million. So, 20 million yung total niya. So, place natin dito, add text na lang ako. So, 20 million pesos yung kanyang total. Ibig sabihin, ayan yung magiging basis natin, no, kapag po nag-compute tayo ng para sa kanyang proportion. So, 20 million pesos is the total amount. Yan. So, parang ayan yung pinaka, anong tawag dito, denominator natin. So, for number 1, yung natanggap natin yung ating government grant. And so, number 1, ulitan lang natin to. Ayan. So, number 1, natanggap natin yung government grant na 15 million. So, debit tayo ng cash for 15 million pesos. Tapos, credit din tayo ng deferred grant income for also 15 million pesos. Then, hindi pa pala number 2, yung another journal entry for number 1, yung para doon sa nagastos natin na environmental expenses. So, dapat ma-record na natin, no, yung kaakibat niyang deferred grant income. So, para muna sa nagastos natin na 2 million for the first year, so, unang taon pa lang po ito. So, debit tayo ng environmental expenses for actual na nagastos natin, which is 2 million pesos. Tapos, credit tayo ng cash for also 2 million pesos. Yan. Tapos, for another is yung, anong tawag dito? Amortization ng deferred grant income. So, yung 15 million na to, nagastos na natin yung 2 million sa kanya out of the total na 20 million. So, dapat meron na tayong ma-amortize sa kanya. So, debit natin si deferred grant income, tapos credit po natin si grant income. So, yung computation yan, yung grant natin na 15 million times 2, kasi 2 million yung nagastos natin during the first year, divided by 20. Kasi 20 million yung total. So, 2 million yung nagastos natin during the first year, 20 million yung total. Kaya 2 over 20. So, yung i-amortize natin na grant income for number 1 is 15 million na total grant times 2 divided by 20. So, that is 1,500,000. So, 1,500,000. Then for number 2, an entity received a grant of 10 million pesos from the Australian government for the construction of a laboratory and research facility with an estimated cost of 15 million pesos and a useful life of 6 years. So ito, grant related to asset siya. So walang sinabi, no, kung deferred income approach or deduction from asset approach. Kapag ka ganun po, deferred income approach na lang yung gamitin natin. So, bumili tayo nagpa-construct tayo ng laboratory and research facility, which is ka-classify din natin as a building. So, building na lang yung gamitin nating account title. So, ang estimated cost niya is 15 million. So, debit tayo ng building for 15 million pesos. Tapos, credit tayo ng cash for also 15 million pesos. So, sabi ko nga, deferred income approach na lang yung gamitin natin. Kaya yung cash na grant na natanggap natin na 10 million, credit na lang natin siya sa deferred income or deferred grant income for 10 million as well. So, syempre, yung amortization ng grant at saka yung depreciation ng building, kailangan nating i-record. So, ang useful life niya daw ay 6 years. Wala naman sinabi sa ating residual value. So, diretso ko nang i-compute dito, no? Yung 15 million na cost ng building, divide natin yung useful life na 6 years ba or 5 years? 6 years. Na 6 years. So, that is 2,500,000. So, lagay natin dito, depreciation muna, debit, depreciation expense, credit, accumulated depreciation. So, yung computation na to, yung 15 million na cost ng building, divide lang natin sa 6 years. So, that is 2,500,000. So, 2,500,000. Tapos, yung amortization ng deferred grant income. So, debit lang din tayo ng deferred grant income. Tapos, credit tayo ng grant income. So, 10 million yon. So, in relation siya to the asset, so divide lang din natin siya sa useful life ng asset na 6 years. Kaya, yung 10 million na grant, divide lang din natin sa 6 years. So, merong tawag dito decimal. So, round off na lang natin to whole number, 1,666,667. So, 1,666,667. Yan. So, ganyan, no? Kapag deferred income approach. So, number 3 na tayo. Diba, ang bilis lang. Number 3, an entity received a grant of a large tract of land in the Cordillera from the Philippine government. So, land yung natanggap natin dito. Meron naman siyang fair value na 5 million pesos. So, the grant required the entity to construct a factory and employ only personnel residing in the Cordillera region. So, dapat daw yung grant na to ay makapagpa-construct tayo ng factory. So, the cost of the factory is 8 million with a useful life of 5 years. So, dito, non-depreciable yung grant na natanggap natin, pero meron naman siyang, in relation naman siya sa isang factory na depreciable naman. So, dapat ipa-partner lang natin siya doon. So, debit natin yung land, yung natanggap nating grant sa kanyang fair value na 5 million pesos. Tapos, credit tayo ng deferred grant income for also 5 million pesos. Tapos yung factory, which is pwede na rin nating ilagay sa building. So, building, napakonstruct natin siya or ang cost niya is 8 million pesos. Tapos credit cash for 8 million pesos. Yan. So, depreciate natin itong building. So, ang kanyang useful life ay 5 years. Wala din sinabi na, anong tawag dito? Residual value. So, debit lang tayo ng depreciation expense and credit ng accumulated depreciation. So, yung cost niya na 8 million, divide lang natin sa 5 years. So, the cost of 8 million pesos, divide mo lang siya by 5 years na useful life. So, that is 1,600,000. Tapos, amortize din natin itong deferred grant income. So, since in relation naman siya doon sa building, ayun lang yung magiging basis natin. So, yung grant natin na natanggap, which is 5 million pesos, divide lang natin siya sa 5 years din. So, although non-depreciable yung land, no, i-connect natin siya doon sa building. So, 5 million divided by 5 years, 1 million naman yung grant na matatanggap natin or na maa-amortize natin in this particular case. Then, number 4, an entity received a grant of 6 million pesos from the British government to compensate for massive losses incurred because of the recent earthquake. So, ito, tapos na-incur na natin yung losses, na wala na siya sa atin, and wala naman siyang kaakibat na, anong tawag dito, restriction. So, ibig sabihin, diretsong income na natin siya. So, debit cash, 6 million pesos, credit grant income, for also 6 million pesos. So, diretsong income na siya, no? Kasi wala naman siyang other criteria. At the same time, na-incur na natin yung losses. So, that's it for problem 24-1. So, punta naman tayo kay problem 24-2. So, for problem 24-2, yan. So, prepare journal entries for 2024. So, on January 1, 2024, Purple Company received a consolidated grant of 12 million pesos. So, dito sa 12 million pesos na to, 3/4 daw or 3/4 of the grant will be utilized to purchase a college building for students from the underdeveloped or developing countries. So, yung 3/4 ay gagamitin para makabili ng or para makapagpa-develop ng building. Tapos yung balance naman daw po is for subsidizing the tuition cost of those students for 4 years from the date of grant. So yung matitira dito sa 12 million kasi 3/4 nga mapupunta sa building ay gagamitin naman daw para sa subsidy for the tuition fee. So the building was purchased in early part of January and is to be depreciated using straight line over 10 years. So, hindi sinabi no yung specific date kung kailan na-purchase yung building. Pero, assume na lang natin na January 1 na lang din para hindi mahirap yung depreciation. So, debit tayo ng January 1, 2024 para dun sa natanggap natin na grant. So, debit tayo ng cash for 12 million pesos. Tapos, credit tayo ng deferred grant income for also 12 million pesos. Tapos, out of this 12 million pesos, 3/4 daw ay mapupunta sa building. So, building. So, yung 12 million, kunin lang natin yung 3/4 niya. So, times 3/4. Magkano yon? 12 million times 3/4. 9 million. So, ibig sabihin, 9 million mapupunta sa building. Tapos, credit tayo sa cash. Kasi binili daw natin yan during the early days of January. Hindi lang sinabi yung specific date ng January, no? Pero inassume na lang natin na January 1. Yan. Tapos, yung natitira daw is for the tuition fee. Tapos, yung tuition fee daw for 2024 amounted to 600,000. So, hindi rin sinabi, no, kung kailan nagastos itong 600,000 na to. So, parang from January to December siguro yan. Lagay na lang natin, January to December 2024. Various days doon sa pagitan ng mga buwan na yan. So, tuition fees, or tuition expenses, yung magagastos natin na 600,000. Tapos, credit tayo ng cash for also 600,000. And then, pagdating ng December 31, 2024, depreciate natin itong building. So, wala naman din sinabing residual value niya, pero i-depreciate daw natin siya over 10 years. So, debit tayo ng depreciation expense, credit tayo ng accumulated depreciation. Yan, sorry, may napindot doon. So, credit ng accumulated depreciation. So, yung building natin, meron siyang cost na 9 million. Divide lang natin siya sa 10 years. So, that is 9 million divided by 10 years, 900,000. So, 900,000. Saka tayo mag-record for the deferred grant income. So, yung deferred grant income kasi natin, dalawa yung kinapuntahan niya, no? Merong para sa tuition fee, tapos merong para sa building. So, dapat makuha natin kung magkano yung na-recognize for the building at magkano yung na-recognize naman para doon sa tuition fee. So, para sa building, so, since ibe-base 3/4 nga ang napunta sa kanya, which is 9 million pesos. So, ibe-base lang din naman natin yan sa useful life ng building, which is 10 years. So, 900,000 yan. Para naman sa tuition. So, para sa tuition. Sa tuition, ang napunta sa kanya is yung 1/4. Kasi, di ba 12 million, yung total grant, 9 million yung napunta sa building, ibig sabihin yung matitira para sa tuition fee ay 3 million. So, 3 million yung matitira para sa tuition fee. Tapos, yung tuition fee daw na to ay gagamitin for 4 years. So, i-divide mo lang siya sa 4 or 4 years. So, si 3 million, i-divide natin sa 4 years. So, that is 750,000. So, ulitin ko, yung 3/4 na punta kay building, so 9 million yon. So, eto din yung kanyang depreciation, no? Eto naman para sa amortization ng deferred grant income. Tapos sa tuition, natira sa kanya 3 million. Yung 3 million na yon, gagamitin siya for 4 years. So, lumipas na yung isang taon, kaya, ayan, 750,000 naman yung mare-recognize para sa kanya. So, ang total nito, 900,000 plus 750,000, the total should be 1,650,000. So, ayan yung mare-recognize as deferred or maa-amortize doon sa deferred grant income. So, debit tayo ng deferred grant income for 1,650,000. Tapos, lagay natin siya sa grant income for 1,650,000. So, that's it for 24-2. So, hinati yung grant sa building tsaka tuition, tapos dinepreciate si building, and then kinuha kung magkano yung deferred grant income na dapat malipat into grant income. On the basis, sa building on the basis ng useful life, sa tuition on the basis kung ilang taon yung pagkakagastosan ng tuition fee na yun, which is 4 years. So, next naman tayo for 24-3, di ba? Ang bilis-bilis lang ng illustration natin. For 24-3, ang hinihingi sa atin is prepare daw natin yung journal entries natin for 2024, assuming the grant is accounted for as deferred income and deduction from assets. So, dalawa pa ang hinihingi sa atin, no? Deferred income tsaka deduction from assets. So, dun muna tayo sa deferred income approach. So, malamang ito ay grant related to asset. So, on January 1, 2024, Darwin Company purchased a plating machine for 5,400,000. The entity received grant of 400,000 related to this capital cost. So, the machine is to be depreciated on a 20% reducing balance basis over 10 years. So, ito, 20% reducing balance basis over 10 years, para siyang, anong tawag dito? Declining balance method. So, hindi siya straight line basis, ganyan. So, the estimated residual value is 200,000. So, actually, hindi pa natin napag-uusapan, no, itong depreciation method na gagamitin natin. Pero, ayun, gawin na lang natin siya. So, January 1, 2024, nung nabili natin si machinery, so, debit tayo ng machinery para sa halagang nabili natin, 5,400,000. Tapos, credit tayo ng cash, 5,400,000. Tapos, nakatanggap tayo ng grant for this machinery. So, deferred income approach, no? Lagay lang natin siya sa deferred income. So, debit ng cash, yung grant na natanggap natin, 400,000. Credit ng deferred grant income for also 400,000. Yan. Tapos, depreciate na natin siya. So, tatandaan nyo, kapag nagde-depreciate po tayo, pag nagde-depreciate tayo under the declining balance method, ang magiging basis natin is the total cost. So, parang i-disregard natin, no, yung kanyang residual value. Hindi natin i-deduct agad-agad yung residual value niya. Ganun po kapag declining balance method. Sa dulo mo pa dapat i-consider yung kanyang residual value. Kaya ang mangyayari sa kanya, December 31, 2024, debit tayo ng depreciation expense, credit tayo ng accumulated depreciation. So, kung magkano yung pinaka-cost niya, ang pinaka-cost niya, diba, is 5,400,000. Multiply mo na agad yan sa 20%. So, hindi mo i-consider itong residual value na 200,000. Kasi under the declining balance method, yung residual value sa end of the year pa, kapag dulo na ng kanyang useful life, doon mo pa lang siya dapat i-consider. Kaya 5,400,000 times 20%, and depreciation niya would be 1,080,000. So, tuturo pa naman po sa inyo yan, no, yung declining balance method sa mga susunod na chapter. And then, kailangan din nating mag-amortize nung deferred grant income. So, amortize din natin ito si deferred grant income. So, kung paano nating dinepreciate yung machinery, ganun din dapat yung maging amortization natin sa deferred grant income. So, debit natin si deferred grant income, tapos credit tayo ng grant income. So, ang grant natin is 400,000, multiply mo lang din sa 20%. So, 400,000 times 0.2, that is 80,000. So, ulitin ko, pagka declining balance method, yung pinaka-rate niya, multiply mo lang doon sa cost. Hindi mo muna i-consider yung residual value kasi sa dulo mo pa siya i-consider. So, this is under the deferred income approach. So, what if doon naman tayo sa deduction from asset approach? So, kapag deduction from asset approach, kailangan yung pinaka-grant na matatanggap natin, nakadeduct na doon sa cost ng machinery. So, start tayo ng January 1, 2024 ulit. Nung binili natin si machinery for 5,400,000, credit tayo ng cash 5,400,000. Tapos, nung nakatanggap tayo ng grant na 400,000, dededuct na natin yan sa cost ng machinery. So, nakatanggap ka ng grant, 400,000. Since deduction from asset approach, tatanggalin mo yan, ibabawas mo yan kay machinery. Kaya yung machinery mo, magkano na lang siya? Ayan. Magkano na lang yung machinery natin? Meron tayong debit na 5,400,000, tapos nabawasan siya ng 400,000. So, ibig sabihin, 5 million na lang yung net cost ng machinery natin. So, ayan na lang din yung magiging basis natin para sa depreciation. So, debit tayo, December 31, 2024. Debit tayo ng depreciation expense. Credit tayo ng accumulated depreciation. Yung 5 million na net cost, nakabawas, no? Nakabawas yung grant na natanggap natin. Ito yung imumultiply natin doon sa rate na 20%. So, itong 5 million, multiply natin sa 20%. So, ibig sabihin, 1 million yung depreciation na i-record natin for December 31, 2024. So, ganun po siya. Dito wala nang ganito, wala nang ganyang entry. Kasi nga, nakadeduct na siya diretsyo kay machinery. Yan. Yun. So, ganun lang for 24-3. So, punta tayo kay 24-4. So, for 24-4, on January 1, 2024, Batangas City agreed to provide probity company with a 5 million 3-year zero interest loan evidenced by a promissory note. So, ito, interest-free loan. So, 5 million siya, tapos hindi tayo binigyan ng interest. Pero kung mangungutang tayo, yung ganito daw, interest of loan, ay merong interest na 10%. So, ito, after 3 years natin babayaran yung buong 5 million, kaya present value of 1 siya for 3 periods, which is 0.75. Yan. So, computein lang natin. Problem 24-4. Ang pinapagawa lang sa atin is yung journal entries niya for 2024 tsaka 2025. So, compute muna tayo. So, yung face amount of notes payable muna na 5 million pesos, multiply natin sa PV of 1. So, yung PV of 1 natin yung 0.75. So, multiply lang natin yan para makuha natin yung present value. Present value of notes payable. So, 5 million. 5 million times 0.75, that is 3,750,000. So, ayan yung present value ng notes payable natin. So, kumpara naman natin itong face amount ng notes payable na 5 million, ikukumpara natin siya doon sa na-compute nating present value, sobra-sobra ay 0. Yan. So, kukumpara natin siya sa na-compute natin present value na 3,750,000 para makuha natin yung discount on notes payable. Yung discount on notes payable, minus mo lang yan, 5 million minus 3,750,000. Our discount would be 1,250,000. So, kung ayan multiple choice, ayan yung pinapahanap sa'yo, ganyan lang yung formula natin. So, gawin na natin yung journal entries po nila. Sud ko lang to. Yan. So, start, ano muna pala, sorry, wag muna pala yung journal entry. Table of amortization muna, para tuloy-tuloy yung journal entry natin. So, sa table of amortization, we have the date, tapos yung amortization, at saka yung present value. So, sa date, start natin siya ng January 1, 2024, nung inisyo natin si promissory note. Tapos, yung mga interest payment dates natin every December 31. Yan. So, sa present value dito, yung una nating na-compute, 3,750,000. So, to get the amortization on December 31, 2024, si 3,750, multiply lang natin sa interest rate na 10%. So, 10% kasi yung interest rate natin. So, times 0.10. So, that is 375,000. Tapos, plus lang natin yung dalawang yan, 375,000 plus natin sa previous na present value. So, that is 4,125,000. So, ito, multiply ulit natin sa 10% para makuha natin yung amortization ng December 31, 2025. So, that is 412,500. Tapos, plus lang ulit natin yung dalawang yan. 412,500 plus 4,125,000, that is 4,537,500. So, dapat sa dulo, magiging saktong 5 million na yan. Equal na yan dapat sa face amount. Kasi ayan na din yung magiging date of payment. So, kunin mo lang yung difference niyan para makompute natin si amortization, 462,500. Kasi forced balance na, di ba, pagdating sa dulo. So, let us prepare the journal entries for 2024 and 2025. So, January 1, 2024, nakatanggap tayo ng cash kasi nangutang tayo for 5 million pesos. And exchange ng pangungutang na to ay nag-release tayo ng notes payable. So, credit tayo kay notes payable. Tapos, sugo pala to dito. Ayan. Tapos, yung discount natin, yung discount on notes payable, yung na-compute natin sa taas. Discount on notes payable na 1,250,000. Ang kapartner nito, deferred grant income. Kasi sabi nga natin, no, yung dapat interest na babayaran mo kaso hindi pinabayaran sa'yo, ayun na yung magsisilbing grant. So, pagdating ng December 31, 2024, amortize natin si discount. Ang kapartner niyan, interest. So, debit ka ng interest expense, credit ka ng discount on notes payable. So, usog lang natin to. So, sa 2024, ito siya, 375,000, yung amortization. And at the same time, dapat amortize din natin si grant. So, si deferred grant income, amortize natin, debit natin siya. Debit, deferred grant income, 375,000, same amount nung sa interest. Tapos, credit tayo kay grant income for also 375,000. So, for 2025, ganun lang ulit, December 31, 2025, debit ulit, interest expense, credit, discount on notes payable, kopyahin ko na lang, but since 2025, ito na yung amount, 412,500. Same for December 31, 2025, amortization ng deferred grant income. So, ganito pa rin yung journal entry mo. Debit, deferred grant income, credit grant income, tapos same amount ng interest nung 2025. 412,500. Ayan. So, ganun lang naman siya. Kapag anong tawag dito? Ang grant natin ay para sa interest-free loan. So, that's it for 24-4. So, punta na tayo kay 24-5. So, for 24-5, prepare daw natin yung mga journal entries ng 3 taon for 2024, 2025, and 2026. So, problem 24-5. So, let us read the problem. On January 1, 2024, Rockwell Company purchased a machine for 3 million pesos. The entity received a government grant of 500,000 in respect to this asset. So, machine yung asset natin. Binili natin siya for 3 million. Tapos, nakatanggap tayo ng grant na 500,000 para dito. So, the policy is to depreciate the asset over 5 years on a straight line basis. So, 5 years yung kanyang useful life. Tapos, yung grant naman daw is as deferred income. So, deferred income approach ito. Then, pagdating ng January 1, 2026, the grant became fully repayable because of non-compliance with conditions. Ayan. So, ito, grant related to asset, tapos deferred income approach. So, noong January 1, 2024, nung na-purchase natin si machinery, debit tayo machinery, 3 million pesos. Tapos, credit tayo ng cash for also 3 million pesos. Yan, kulang ng 0. 3 million pesos. Yan. Tapos, at the same time, January 1, 2024, natanggap din natin sa grant. So, deferred income approach tayo. Debit tayo sa grant na natanggap natin, 500,000. Credit tayo sa deferred grant income for also 500,000. Yan. So, deferred income approach kasi. Then, pagdating ng December 31, 2024, depreciate natin si machinery. So, wala naman sinabing residual value, no? Useful life lang is 5 years. So, debit tayo ng depreciation expense, credit ng accumulated depreciation. Ang computation niyan, yung cost natin, cost ng machinery na 3 million, divide lang natin sa 5 years. Kasi wala namang residual value. At the same time, deferred income approach, kaya yung nakuha nating grant, hindi naman makakaapekto sa depreciation. So, ito ay 600,000. Tapos, amortize din natin itong grant, syempre. So, December 31, 2024, debit natin si deferred grant income. Tapos, credit tayo kay grant income. So, ibe-base lang din natin siya sa useful life ng asset, which is 5 years. So, 500,000, divide mo lang din sa 5 years. So, 500,000 divided by 5, 100,000 siya. Yan. So, ayan yung journal entry for 2024. For 2025, nasa atin pa din, hindi pa naman tayo magre-repay ng grant. So, ganito lang ulit yung gagawin natin for 2025. So, December 31, 2025, debit depreciation expense, credit accumulated depreciation, same amount, 600,000. As well as dito sa deferred grant income. Sa deferred grant income din po, debit lang tayo ng deferred grant income, credit ng grant income for the same amount, 100,000. Kasi, hindi pa naman tayo magre-repay. Tapos, pagdating ng January 1, 2026, doon pa lang magkakaroon ng repayment. Yan. So, doon pa lang magkakaroon ng repayment. January 1, 2026. So, sabi natin, kapag merong repayment, uubusin muna natin yung balanse ng deferred grant income. So, ito yung deferred grant income kasi natin. 500,000 siya. Credit. Tapos, ito yung mga nabawas natin sa kanya. Ayan, meron tayong debit na 100,000 noong December 31, 2024, another debit na 100,000 noong December 31, 2025. So, ibawas natin yan parehas. So, minus 100,000 minus another 100,000. So, yung natitirang balanse ng deferred grant income is 300,000. So, alisin na natin, ubusin natin. Debit natin siya, deferred grant income, 300,000. Yung ire-repay natin, yung entire amount, yung buong halaga na 500,000. So, yung difference na 200,000 dito, loss. Loss on repayment of grant. Kumbaga, ito yung mga dating grant income na na-recognize mo. Ayan. So, ito yung repayment para sa grant natin. And pagdating ng December 31, 2026, depreciate lang ulit natin yung machinery. In terms of depreciation, since deferred income approach tayo, wala siyang magiging epekto. So, 600,000 pa din siya. So, ganun no kapag deferred income approach. Walang effect sa depreciation kahit magkaroon ng repayment. Ayan. So, that's it for problem 24-5. So, last problem na, diba? Ang bilis lang. 24-6. So, for problem 24-6, pinagpe-prepare din tayo ng journal entries for 2024, 2025, and 2026 under the following approaches. So, meron tayong deferred income approach at saka deduction from asset approach. So, usog ko lang. So, Tarata Company received a government grant of 5 million related to factory building. So, factory building ang asset natin. Purchased on January 1, 2024 from an industrialist identified by the government. So, if the entity did not purchase the building which was located in the slums of the city, it would have been repossessed by the government agency. So, the entity purchased the building for 12 million pesos. The useful life of the building is 10 years tapos walang residual value. So, on January 1, 2026, the entire amount of the government grant became repayable. So, January 1, 2026, naging repayable siya due to the non-compliance with certain conditions attached to the grant. So, parang yung kanina lang din, no? So, deferred income approach muna. January 1, 2024, nung nakuha natin si building, na-purchase natin siya for its cost na 12 million pesos. Yan. So, credit lang tayo sa cash kasi binili natin siya. 12 million pesos. And at the same time, nakatanggap din tayo ng grant. Yung grant na natanggap natin is worth 5 million. So, deferred income approach, debit mo si 5 million na grant na natanggap mo as cash, tapos credit tayo sa deferred grant income for also 5 million pesos. Ayan. Kasi deferred income approach, no? Then, pagdating ng December 31, 2024, depreciate natin yung building. So, debit, depreciation expense, credit, accumulated, depreciation. Diba? Ulit-ulit lang yung ginagawa natin. So, since ito ay deferred income approach, hindi natin i-deduct yung grant na natanggap natin. So, ito lang, si building, 12 million, no residual value din naman po, no? Kaya ano lang siya, 12 million, divide mo lang sa useful life na 10 years. Ganun lang siya. So, 12 million divided by useful life na 10 years. So, that is 1,200,000. Tapos, amortize din natin yung grant. So, debit tayo ng deferred grant income, credit tayo ng grant income. So, yung 5 million na grant, ibe-base lang din natin sa useful life ng building na 10 years. Kaya, 5 million divided by 10 years. So, 500,000 naman yung ire-record natin for the grant. Ayan yung magiging grant income for 2024. So, ganun ulit for 2025. Nasa atin pa naman, hindi pa naman nagre-repay. So, depreciate ka lang ulit para dun sa building natin. Same amount, 1,200,000. Tapos, amortize mo lang din ulit yung ating grant income. Same amount din, 500,000. So, 500,000. So, same amount. Then, pagdating ng January 1, 2026, saka magkakaroon ng repayment. So, check mo lang magkano na lang yung balance ng grant mo. So, ayan, hina-highlight ko, no, yung may mga deferred grant income na account title. So, meron kang credit na 5 million, nabawasan ng debit noong December 31, 2024 na 500,000, another debit noong December 31, 2025, 500,000. So, ang natitirang balanse niya, 4 million. So, ubusin na natin yan. Debit na natin yung buong 4 million pesos. At yung grant na ire-repay natin ay cash worth 5 million pesos. So, So, yung tira dito, yung difference ay loss. Loss on repayment of grant. Ayun, ganun lang siya. Then, lastly, December 31, 2026, depreciate ulit natin si building. So, in terms ng depreciation ng building, walang magbabago sa halaga. 1,200,000 pa din. So, walang magbabago kasi wala ka namang hahabulin. Bakit wala kang hahabulin? Naka-deferred income approach ka. Under the deferred income approach, hindi mo naman dinededuct yung grant na natanggap mo doon sa cost, doon sa halaga ng asset. Yan. So, ayan yung sagot for the deferred income approach. So, last na, punta tayo kay deduction from asset approach. So, sa deduction from asset approach, ito yung maaapektuhan yung ating depreciation. So, pagka nagkaroon ng repayment, meron kang hahabulin. So, January 1, 2024, nung binili mo si building, so, debit building, credit cash, katulad sa kanina, for 12 million pesos. But this time, since naka-deduction from asset approach ka, nung natanggap mo yung grant na 5 million, ayan, nung natanggap mo siya, ide-deduct mo siya sa halaga ng building. So, ibabawas mo siya kay building, kaya magki-credit ka ng building dito. Kaya yung computation na lang natin ng depreciation, di ba yung cost ng depreciation natin, 12 million. Ililess mo dito si government grant. Kasi deduction from asset approach. So, ibig sabihin, ang net cost na lang niya, 12 million minus 5 million. Ang net cost na lang niya would be 7 million. So, 7 million na lang siya. So, kung merong residual value, less mo din. Kaso, wala namang residual value, no? Nilagay ko lang din. So, ito yung ating depreciable amount. So, 7 million minus 0 is 7 million pa din. Kasi nga, wala namang residual value. So, divide mo siya by the useful life. Ang useful life natin ay 10 years. So, divide mo lang siya doon. So, ito yung magiging annual depreciation. So, diba, bumaba siya. Magiging 700,000 na lang siya. Kasi pagpababa sa kanya yung halaga ng grant. Dahil nga, deduction from asset approach. Kaya pagdating ng December 31, 2024, debit ka lang ng depreciation expense doon sa annual depreciation na na-compute natin, 700,000. Tapos credit ng accumulated depreciation for also 700,000. So, ganun din for December 31, 2025, ulitin mo lang itong journal entry na to kasi hindi pa naman nagkakaroon ng repayment during this time. So, debit ulit, depreciation expense, credit accumulated depreciation, 700,000. So, ulit-ulit mo lang gagawin yan hanggang hindi nagkakaroon ng repayment. Kaso, in this case, pagdating ng January 1, 2026, meron na agad repayment. So, kapag merong repayment under sa deduction from asset approach, yung repayment, idadagdag natin sa cost ng building. So, di ba magbabayad tayo ng grant na 5 million. So, idadagdag mo yan sa cost ng building natin. Ayun. Kaya tataas yung depreciation, tapos hahabulin natin, no? So, parang ganito siya. Diba, yung depreciation natin, depreciation from original carrying amount. Ang depreciation natin from original carrying amount, yung 700,000. Kaso, nagkaroon tayo ng increase. Depreciation from increased carrying amount. Diba, tataas siya ng 5 million. Kasi nga, nagkaroon ng repayment. So, yung 5 million na yon, divide natin sa useful life na 10 years, tapos, multiply natin kung ilang taon yung hahabulin. So, that is 2024, 2025, tapos yung pang 2026. So, 3 taon yung hahabulin. 2024, 2025, and 2026. So, ayan. Kunin mo yan. So, 5 million yung tinaas sa carrying amount, divide sa useful life na 10 years, multiply kung ilang taon yung hahabulin. So, 1,500,000. So, ibig sabihin, meron tayong depreciation for 2026 na depreciation for 2026 na 2,200,000. So, pag pinag-plus mo yung dalawang yan, 2,200,000. Kaya pagdating ng December 31, 2026, debit tayo ng depreciation expense, 2,200,000. Tapos, credit tayo ng accumulated depreciation for also 2,200,000. So, para mahabol mo yung mga nakalipas na depreciation, kasi nung dati mong depreciation, 700,000 lang, 'di ba? Kaso nga, tumaas yung carrying amount ng building dahil nagkaroon ng repayment sa grant. So, pati yung mga nakaraang taon, hahabulin mo yung depreciation niya. Pero pagdating ng December 31, 2026, so, yung depreciation niya, yung from original, carrying amount, tsaka yung from increase. Pero this time, isang taon na lang siya. So, isang taon na lang kasi nahabol mo na yung 2024, 2025, 2026. Kaya sa 2027, 500,000 na lang yan. Ano na lang siya? 5 million na increase sa carrying amount divided by 10 years times 1 kasi for 2027 na lang. Kaya ang magiging depreciation mo, depreciation for 2027 and the following years sa mga susunod pang taon would be 1,200,000. Same na doon sa naka-deferred income approach. Kaya for December 31, 2027 at sa mga susunod pang taon, ang magiging journal entry mo, debit depreciation expense, credit accumulated depreciation, 1,200,000. Kasi 500,000 na lang yung depreciation from increased carrying amount. Dito kasi hinabol natin yung 2024, 2025, and 2026. Kaya naging 1,500,000. Ayan. So, that's it. Tapos na po ang illustration ng mga problems natin for chapter ng government grant. If you would have any question, kindly message me na lang sa aking Facebook Messenger account. So, thank you and God bless po.